Hey everybody, it is Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2. I'm out here in the garage getting ready to clean this American Defense Manufacturing UIC, or the Universal Improved Carbine. I just finished the range report on this, just got it edited and uploaded. I sent the link to Charles, who linked it to the channel, and I also set it for my Patreon release for tomorrow, and I believe I set the release date on this one as like August the 14th. So I'm out here going to clean this up and put this back in the rifle bag with the AK that Charles lent as well. And so I need to get these guns back to him. There's a couple things I want to talk about tonight before I get into this cleaning frenzy. I want to talk about the range report that was released today on the Clark Custom Long Slide. And a lot of you guys really seem to like it. I had some great comments. And one of the things in that video I had issues with, if you've seen that range report, is I had some tumbling with the 230 grain. And I also had some people say those guns, or most of those guns, were not designed to shoot hardball through them, and that can be a little bit rough. And you don't want to damage the gun. Okay. And that was some great information. And of course, those were competition guns. And I mentioned in the video, based on my research, some of the loadings for those were designed for like semi-wad cutter, lead projectiles, and usually 185 grain and so forth. And the person that helped facilitate that gun being lent to the channel, Richard, contacted the owner of the pistol, Chandler, and they did a little bit of digging. Now, this was a gun that I guess was in Chandler's family for an extended period of time. And it turns out they were going through some stuff, and they found something really interesting that goes with that pistol that I didn't have in that range report. We have some hand-loaded ammunition from, I guess, the person that originally owned the gun, and there's a lot of information on this. Now, these, I'll show you in a second, but it says 45 ACP. These were loaded on August the 4th, 1970. So these things are, what, 53 years old? That's crazy. 53-year-old loaded ammunition. These were designed for that Clark long slide. I guess it says the case make is Western. Anyway, so we have, it's 185 grain. It has the, it's bullseye powder, has some other stuff in there. But let me show you what this one is. I think this one also says what the, I'm trying to find it here. One of these says which casting it is. Oh, it's 130. This is the H&G 130. So here is the semi-wad cutter. And this is designed for that type of bullseye shooting and to be shot through that Clark Custom long slide. So hopefully I won't have any problems with tumbling, and this will be a lot softer on the gun, and my complaints when it comes to recoil will be mitigated with that. They also found another box, assuming loaded at the same time. And this is 215 grain. And I guess it's using bullseye powder, and the weight of the powder is 3.45 grains. I'm trying to find the information on the other one here. Not sure it says on the box. I'll have to double check with Richard here, but I'll put pictures of all this. And this one has a little bit different bullet diameter, sorry, not diameter, bullet casting on it. So that is the projectile there. Another semi-wad cutter right there. And these are made about the same time, I'm assuming, because the boxes are the same. So these were designed for that Clark long slide. Now, some of these have a little bit of corrosion on the casing, so maybe I shouldn't use those, but I'll have to go through them and kind of figure out. But these were loaded and appear to be, based off of the information on the box, loaded lighter than your typical like 230 grain and modern 45 ACP. And this stuff was designed for, as I said, bullseye shooting. And I was talking to Richard, and he says a lot of this stuff is designed to go like 800 feet per second. So it's cruising along at a much slower pace than some of that other stuff that we shoot today. So I am going to do a range report revisit on that Clark long slide, and it's going to be where I'm not really reviewing it. I'm just going to try to shoot it with this ammunition, see what results I get, and if it changes my opinion on how that gun performed. So that is really cool. So 53-year-old ammunition designed for that Clark long slide. So that is going to be really, really, really cool. All right, so what else do I want to talk about tonight? I want to address a comment that I got in a video I made, I think, yesterday, regarding a comment I said in the video about voting. I mentioned that I am not a registered voter anymore. I've given up on the system because I don't think that my vote counts. It doesn't matter. And the options that I get to choose from essentially are the same thing. Okay? So this person that responded to me said, my complaints about the system fall on deaf ears because I choose not to participate in the system. And I responded to him and I said, by me not voting, that's actually me voting. It's me saying I have a vote of no confidence in the system. So the analogy I kind of use when it comes to the Democrats and the Republicans is, and why I don't vote. Let's imagine you live in a community, okay? And your community votes on who you allow into the community, okay? This is a hypothetical. And there are two people that want admission into your community. One person is a arsonist. Like, they're a pyromaniac. They absolutely love fire. They are an arsonist. They have set fires in the past, and their stated goal is to continue to set fires. Okay? So we already know that's where they stand. The other person that wants to be voted in really likes fire, but likes to set smaller fires and will occasionally set bigger fires, but for the most part says, I have my desire to commit arson under control for the most part. Okay? And you have to vote, do you want the raging arsonist or do you want the kind of arsonist? Well, I'll tell you what I would vote for. Neither. Because both are probably going to set fires, are going to destroy other people's property. They're both going to end potentially with the same outcome, and most likely are, okay? I don't have a third option. I don't have anywhere in the voting system for me to go, hey, why don't we vote for somebody that's not going to set fires? I don't. So obviously, in my opinion, the Democrats are the raging arsonists. They want to burn everything to the ground. And the Republicans are the ones that will do it slowly. They'll set small fires. Those fires can get out of control, but they like to set fires too, just more controlled and smaller. I don't want any fires. So do you guys understand the analogy that I'm going at here? The Republicans, well, when I was younger, I was all about them, the conservatives. However, they have shown me through their own actions, and I'm not saying they're all this way, it just happens to be that most of them are, that they're not fighters. They say one thing to us as voters and then do something completely else. So, for example, all of you out there that in my videos where I talk about the ATF pistol brace rule or ATF things, a lot of you all say, defund the ATF. Okay, well, that's something that the Republicans can do. It really is. It's something that we can do. We can defund the ATF. And guess what? right now, in this moment, we have the power to defund the ATF. Now, you guys are going, wait a second, Joe Biden would veto it. Okay, yeah, he would. But all spending bills originate in the House. Now, they can pass a budget next year that says we are going to repeal that $1 billion budget overhaul of the ATF, and we defund them to almost nothing. Now, it could pass because it's all Republicans. Now, it would go to the Senate, and of course, the Democrats would put it all back in. But what can the Republicans do? They can hold the line. They can go, we will give you everything you want, everything but this. And they can hold off, and they can hold off until eventually, over that one item, that's it, one item, the Democrats would have to acquiesce and go, okay, we need to keep government going. We're going to defund the ATF. They could. Because you know why? Imagine it's flipped. Imagine the Republicans held the Senate and the Democrats held the House. And they wanted to defund something that they don't like, okay? They do this all the time, and they have no problem whatsoever holding the nation hostage because they go after what they want. That is something that I respect the Democrats on. If they have a one-vote majority in a legislature, they will pass their agenda 100%. They will ram it through, come hell or high water. The Republicans can have a supermajority, and they can't get anything done. And you ask them, why can't we get anything done? Well, we got to work with the Democrats. Or, it's an election year. We voted you in to do certain things. Defund the ATF. Defund gun control. But then they're going to shut down government. They're going to blame us. We can't hold the line. It's amazing to me. It's amazing. As I said, I respect my opponents. I really do. You have to have a healthy respect for your opponents because when you underestimate them, that's when they're really going to win. But I respect the Democrats because they can be the minority party in a situation, the House of Representatives, the Senate, and even not have the presidency like it happened with Donald Trump. And through legal maneuvering and between just sheer will alone and working the rules, they stop what they don't want to go through. They successfully get their agenda passed in those situations and signed by the president because they hold firm. When they go and want power and get something done, they get it done. Now, granted, what they want to get done, I think, is horrible for us as a nation. But damn, do they get it done. They can be in the minority and the Republicans have a supermajority, and they will still somehow get the Republicans to give them what they want. The Republicans will not repeal gun control. They will not defund the ATF. They won't stand firm. So, you ask me to vote for a Republican. You're saying if you don't participate in these elections, you have no right to say anything. Your complaints fall on deaf ears. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I am voting. My vote is a vote of no confidence. I sure as hell don't want the Democrat to win. But I really don't want the Republican to win either, because the Republican is going to end up doing the same thing the Democrats doing at a slower pace, like I was talking about when it came to those arsonists. My house is still going to burn down. It's just a question of, is it tomorrow or is it next week? I look at this and go, there's another option. We stop participating. We stop participating. Because eventually those Republicans that go along to get along and essentially are Democrats, well, they're going to lose power. They're not going to be voted in. And eventually the real Democrats get voted in, and then everything goes to hell anyway. And then the Republican candidates realize, well, we have to do something. We just can't be Democrats. That's what they are. Now, you guys can disagree with this philosophy. It's my personal belief. It's my personal right. And regardless if I vote in these elections, because I'm voting not for the lesser of two evils, I'm literally voting for an evil, because in my mind, they're both evil, and you're forcing me to vote, or wanting me to, or force me to vote for an evil. I'm not doing it. I've given up on it because I have no choice. Maybe one day I will have a choice, but right now I don't, because I vote for people, not against people. And I know what some of you guys are out there saying. You're saying, Jason, if you don't vote for them, for these Republicans, well, the Democrats are going to go get in and pass gun control. Okay, you're right. But the Republicans get in and they pass gun control. They don't repeal it. They work across the aisle. They have to hold town halls. Trust me, we all know that another mass tragedy event's going to happen in the future. It's going to happen, okay? Well, you're going to see Republican governors across the country say, we have to do something. Enough is enough. And those Republicans that you're telling me to vote for are going to, sell you out. They're going to pass gun control because the Democrats control them. So I'm not voting for it. So anytime a Republican votes for gun control, it's not my fault. I didn't vote. I vote no confidence. I have no confidence in our electoral system. I do not personally believe, and even here in Texas, where we have things like voter ID, we have things in place that are supposed to prevent fraud. Even in the last election, there was fraud. Like, I remember around here, there was somebody that got arrested. Luckily, they got arrested and caught with a bunch of illegal ballots, okay, in a town around here. I think it was like in the Colony, and that's the name of the town, the Colony. It's pretty close to here in Frisco. But that stuff's going on. And so if one person fraudulently votes, my vote doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, okay? If you have a bunch of uneducated voters who have no concept of what's going on, and the only reason they're voting is because a presidential candidate says, I will clear your student loan debt, my vote doesn't matter. They don't know what they're voting for. I vote for no confidence in the system until we have a system that I can believe in, or I have candidates that will actually vote for my interests. I have nobody that represents me. I've gotten on the case of my local representatives and, people here in the local elections, talk to them on Facebook and things, because they do stupid things. I'll talk to them and go, why'd you vote on this? I'll message them, or I'll write them a letter. And that's not conservative. That's not libertarian. That's not advancing freedom. Why'd you make this stupid statement about gun control? Around here in this district, it's Republican. I mean, my vote really truly doesn't matter because the Republican's going to win anyway. But that's why I don't vote, because I am voting. I'm voting no confidence. Just like when people leave a jurisdiction, like California, they're voting with their feet. They're leaving the state. Well, I'm voting by not voting. Those Republican candidates waste money and time advertising to me. You're not going to get my vote because you're going to tell me, oh yeah, we are pro Second Amendment. I'm NRA certified. I'm thinking NRA, or NRA endorsed or whatever. I'm like, whatever. The NRA is a joke, which tells me that you don't even know that. You don't even know that most gun owners think the NRA is a joke. So you're completely out of touch. If you see any candidates in this next election that say they're endorsed by the NRA or have an NRA A+ rating, and they're touting that as a good thing, look at the gun community We all don't like the NRA. But those politicians are so stupid, they think the NRA matters and they care about their endorsements or their ratings. Now, if they truly cared about gun rights, they would be touting their GOA ratings or their Firearm Policy Coalition ratings, not their NRA ratings. But they don't know because they don't care. It's just another wedge issue to get you to vote for them. And then when they get up there, they're not going to defund the ATF. They're not going to defund gun control. They're not going to pass pro-gun legislation, even if they had both houses, supermajorities, and the presidency. They're not going to do it. Donald Trump was not your friend. He said the attack on the Second Amendment was over. Okay? He had no idea what he was talking about. Come on. He said, when it came to red flag laws, let's confiscate guns and then have due process. That's not due process. Due process is due process. And then if you are found guilty or adjudicated mentally defective or a danger to other people in a court of law, then you can have your guns confiscated. You had your day in court. He passed or directed the ATF to ban bump stocks. And that opened the door to the 80% rule, which, by the way, good news, that was overturned in the Fifth Circuit. So good news there. But they passed the bump stock ban because of Trump. But that opened the door for the pistol brace ban. So if you hate the pistol braces and hate me for making videos about it, you need to hate Donald Trump. He gave them the idea. He opened that door. And then they realized they're going to take full advantage of it, of that rule-making ability. And who's Donald Trump? A Republican. And who supported him? Republicans. Arguably, Donald Trump was worse for the Second Amendment than Barack Obama. Yeah, he was. Barack Obama actually signed a bill which allowed for concealed carry in national parks. And I think on Amtrak. Now, are those huge wins? Not necessarily. But those were passed in bills, and he signed them into law as part of those bills. He didn't really sign any anti-gun legislation, and all the executive orders were kind of jokes. What did Donald Trump do? I know some of you guys think, oh, I don't care about bump stocks. But damn, do you care about pistol braces? In the eyes of the ATF, it's the same damn thing. They use the same rule-making ability that Donald Trump opened the door to. The Republicans will take your guns just as quick and through the same measures as the Democrats. They just claim they're on your side. So that's why I don't vote. I'm either voting for an anti-gun person or an anti-gun person who says they're pro-gun but is really anti-gun in the end. And that's it. That is my personal opinion. I am free to have that opinion as an American. I have the right not to vote. Just like people, I tell people all the time, you have a Second Amendment right to own a firearm. But you also can choose not to exercise that right. I choose to have a vote of no confidence, and I exercise that right by not voting. I don't exercise the right to vote because it's a waste of my time. It only makes me frustrated because I know my vote doesn't count. I don't trust it. By having my name off of the voter rolls, nobody can falsely vote in my name. We hear about that all over the country. Even here in Texas, people show up to the polls on election day, and hi, I'm John Doe, and I'm here to vote. Show them the voter ID card or no, I'm sorry, sir, you've already voted. What? No, I haven't. Yeah, you voted in early voting. Yeah, because somebody came and voted for you. Now, they might let you vote again, but you already know that other person that voted probably voted in the other way than you're going to vote. So now your vote's canceled out anyway. Why? By having my name off the rolls, nobody can vote in my name. So anyway, I am sure I have pissed some people off, but that's okay. Because we can still be friends. Remember, that's what this channel is about. Healthy dialogue and talking about things like this. And you are free to disagree with me vehemently. You are free to not like me. You are free to click that unsubscribe button. And that's okay, because I support your right to not like me and to vote by unsubscribing, to tell me that my content is bad and you disagree. You can also give me a thumbs down, and that's okay too. But these are my personal thoughts and opinions. I don't want to take away your rights to do anything you want to do. This is just how I personally feel. And this philosophy and thought process has evolved over time, absolutely. But I have a right to feel the way that I do, to make the decisions that I do, and they don't hurt anybody. So, if you disagree with me, tell me in the comments. Just don't call me a name. Don't talk about me in third person. And I guess just, tell me why I'm wrong. We can have a great conversation. I'm open to dialogue. So, I'm curious how many of you I've made upset. But remember, if I've said something that makes you upset, that's on you. It's not on me. Because I don't want to make you upset. I'm just being honest. I'm not here to make anybody upset. Just share my honest opinions, thoughts, and experiences with you. And yours, of course, may vary. But that's it. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.